Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. Sunday, November 12th, Choice to Make record release show for The Nature of Mortality. It's going to be Choice to Make, Dead Heat, Worn, Never Again, Raw Life, Pain Clinic, and Temple of Mara. So please go out and support all of the bands. If you haven't had a chance yet, please head over to the From Within Records store and pick up a copy of The Nature of Mortality. Also, Worn and Hellbound tapes are now in. They will start shipping out this week, and the record release for Condensing Flesh will be announced very soon. So please keep an eye out for that. If you're not following From Within Records on social media, please go boot up your Twitter, your Instagram, click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. If you're looking for high quality merch for your band, for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing, or if you want to get in contact with them, please email them, contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. Before we get into today's guest, I've been on vacation. Feels fine to be back. But last night was definitely a movie. I never say that, but last night was truly something special. Shout out to the homie Ben. We traveled to LA. We had to go to the Novo because Stacy was in town, and Stacy is like a top 3 group for me. It's like Twice, Weekly, and Stacy, right? Stacy, Weekly, interchangeable. Obviously, I'm leaning more towards Stacy these days because Weekly hasn't had a proper comeback, but that's all going to change because tomorrow, Weekly is back with Colorize. We'll talk a lot about that in the coming days. But Ben and I, we traveled to the Novo. It was the final stop on Stacy's first world tour, which was amazing because this is a group that I've been following since the very beginning. And it's one of the groups that I got into very early because, funny enough, Stacy, Weekly, and Espa all pretty much debuted around the same time. And just 3 groups that I've stuck with and have become some of my favorite groups. I've seen them a bunch of times, except for Weekly. That's like number 1 on groups I need to see before I die. But Stacy, just to see them grow and just put out hits, right? All their singles are amazing. They have an outrageous number of B-sides that are so good, could easily be their singles. So we got to see Stacy. We ran into K-pop Junkie. It was a pleasure talking to him. But just the whole experience, just getting there and being able to get some official merch. I have a shirt hanging somewhere back here. I grabbed a tour shirt. But it was just an amazing experience just to see Stacy perform. Basically, almost like, I think they literally performed everything that they had. And they covered Miley Cyrus, which was insane. But it was just an amazing time. So being able to end my vacation with seeing Stacy, I could not have asked for a better time. So for anyone who is curious, if you're not familiar with Stacy, do yourself a favor. Go listen to their newest album, Teen Fresh. Shout out to Bubble. You can go listen to ASAP. That's probably their most popular song. They closed the set with it, which was insane. It was like surreal. So I'd seen it live before, but when it's them on the main stage, the main event, it just definitely hit different. So go listen to Stacy. They're amazing, and I'm so stoked. And you probably noticed right here, this is my lanyard that I brought home from the concert. Sorry, Brave Girls. It's covering my Brave Girls lanyard, but now you can see Stacy will be here for the foreseeable future. But yeah, it was an amazing time, and it was worth it. Got to see friends we don't really get to see too often, and just end it all with an amazing performance by Stacy. I could go on forever, but yeah, go listen to Stacy. You can thank me later. But on today's episode, we had to track down Nate Preschutti, the man behind Choice to Make, the man behind Good Fortune Printing. Huge influence on me. I'm happy to be able to call him a friend. He's taken care of me every time that I've traveled to Wilkes-Barre. So shout out to Nate. He's an awesome person. So he's done a lot for the podcast behind the scenes, and I truly appreciate it. And I'm so happy to have been able to have him on the podcast to talk about the new Choice to Make record, which I'm such a huge fan of. If you haven't had a chance, go listen to it. It's amazing. Go order a copy. It's amazing. But it was fun for me to be able to have Nate on the podcast, because when I think back to when I first had him on the podcast, I reached out to him through Facebook, which is crazy because I had no real connection to him. And so I can't remember who it was. Like, off the top of my head, somebody told me, hey, just message him on Facebook. And I was like, that's weird, but I'll do it. And it just sent me down this crazy path. Now we're friends. It's awesome. But it was really fun to be able to catch up with him and hear about, like I said, Choice to Make. We talk about Good Fortune, even talk about some of his other bands, The Fire, which I'm a huge fan of. Go listen to that demo. It's out there on all streaming platforms. It's sick. But shout out to everyone in this Grant Wilkes-Barre area. We actually have, here's a spoiler, next episode, we have another legend from the SWB. So I'm a huge fan, and I did not plan it this way, but just so happens the way the schedule lined up, 2 guests back to back from the same area, both doing amazing things. But on today's episode, we have Nate Preschutti, the great Nate Preschutti. So please hit pause, go listen to the new Choice to Make record, go follow Good Fortune, go listen to The Fire, and then come back here and listen to Nate and I chop it up about a ton of great stuff. So please strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome Nate Preschutti to the show. All right, and we're recording. Welcome back to the podcast. Nate, how's it going?
What's up? It's good. We're good. We're here.
Yeah, I appreciate you, getting Zoom and doing the podcast. This definitely means a lot to me. For anyone who's not familiar, when I look back at the history of this, I feel like you play this like important role, right? Because when I reached out to you, way back when on Facebook, and when I had you on, I feel like you were so willing to put me in contact with so many people. And I feel like the respect that people have for you and seeing that you did my podcast and you vouching for me behind the scenes, I feel like that really helped me, make a lot of connections. So I really do thank you for that. So I just am happy to have you back.
Of course. Thanks for having me. And, I'm always down to help anyone who's down, with anything that's good. I'm always down to help.
Okay. Well, before we get into the band talk, right? You sing for a band called Choice to Make. You play guitar and string for a reason. But before we get to that, I want to start off, and I want to hear about Good Fortune. Obviously, right here, I'm always been a huge fan of the company, and I'm hearing about it in the early stages, and I was always willing to support what you're doing, right? Just because of how you supported me in the beginning, I wanted to be able to return that favor to you. So hearing about it and then just being able to watch it grow, I think is really awesome. But can you go back to the very beginning, and can you talk about how you even had the idea to start something like Good Fortune?
Oh man. Okay. So I'll give you the long and the short.
Okay.
It's kind of a long-winded story, I guess. back in high school, I worked on and off with a dude who screen printed. He was like a BMX dude. And I had like a t-shirt brand and shit. So I was just doing like grunt work there in his shop. That was like for a couple of years off and on in high school. Then did a bunch of other shit, like worked in warehouses for a few years and construction and pipeline bullshit. And then I worked at another print shop, and I always, I like the thought of just like working for myself. So hit up my one homie, Matt Wren, and asked him, if he wanted to do something, because he had like this web store at the time, and he was like down, but essentially it boiled down to me, him, and a couple other dudes. And then by the time things really kind of started getting going, though, I feel like everyone else, we kind of got the shit, and immediately he got another opportunity to pursue a different career that he couldn't really pass up at that time. And then my other homie had to move to New York that was involved. And so it's pretty much boiled down to like kind of like one of those contests, like last person with their hand on the car wins the car situation. And so it's pretty much like I do the majority of it, and then TK, who plays bass in Choice to Make, he moves full time, like he works for a moving company.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's also, when he's not doing that, he comes in and like helps run the shit. So it's like me and him at this point, essentially. And yeah, I just wanted to work for myself, not really prescribed to the whole 40-hour fucking or 70-hour work week, like this hour to that hour, more on the vibe of like just, get the shit done and make the due dates and be able to work for myself. It's like, it's harder because it's kind of like all the time, like text messages, emails, all sorts of shit. And like, because it's like pretty much just me and like with TK helping, it's like, I'm every department. So it's kind of like always juggling shit. As far as like getting art stuff, blanks, actually printing, staging stuff, making screens. It's a whole bunch of like, people don't realize what goes into a shirt generally. It's a whole bunch of bullshit to get like the end result. And it's all kind of time consuming stuff. Sometimes it's you got to wait for things to dry, or you're waiting on UPS to fuck you over, essentially, because that happens a bunch too, But I guess, I'm getting a little long-winded on it, but want to be able to like work with bands. I love hardcore, punk, so we're just doing it fucking word of mouth, essentially. We don't really do any local shit. It's really just like homies, word of mouth, hardcore punk stuff with some other like maybe like tattoo stuff and maybe like a local thing here and there, like through word of mouth. But we're just super lucky, especially because there's, a bunch of dope hardcore print shops like Edgeman and Soaked in Ink and Brass City, Printhead in the West Coast. It's all, hardcore people just doing it DIY style. And I think that's like, a big help from, booking shows, being in bands and stuff. It's like, it's that same energy, in, I feel like all those shops in my shop. So, there's Inkbug merch too. He's in Richmond, and Lucky Streak just moved to Arizona. And it's all like hardcore punk heads. So, I saw a meme. It's like, if you're, I forget. It's something about like you're a hardcore dude in your 30s. You're either a tattoo artist, B, a screen printer, or C, a barista, some shit like that.
Okay.
So I guess I'm a meme personified at this point.
Now I have to ask. You mentioned you getting help with TK when he's available. Is it okay to ask about Ryan? Is he still around?
Ryan has moved on to greener pastures. My man Ryan Altmos got offered a good opportunity.
Okay.
Had to take it, and he was, so for probably almost a year and a half, he was a huge part. Like, he was my fucking right hand. He was the reason I was able to kind of have a decent work-life balance the past year and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
And he left maybe a little over a month ago. So I've been having to like lean on TK more and readjust kind of to that, not having Ryan around, because, you trained him for a while and he was able to just kind of go in on his own and get shit done, and I'd be able to actually take a day off. And but he had to move on to another gig, but it's all love, and I still talk to him and shit like that. So you never know, he might make so my homie Brendan, who had moved to New York in the beginning, he pops in every now and again and helps out, but he lives in the city, so it's kind of few and far between. But months will go by when he pops in, and he'll ask for like, what's been going on, or he'll be talking about something from like 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Because we kind of started the shit like in pandemic-y times,
Mm-hmm.
So that's when he was around. And he'll pop in like every 6 months or something, just because he's got a full-time gig in the city. But I was joking, like, I'm like, oh, you were here for like the pilot in season 1. We had done season 2. We got canceled. We got picked up by Netflix. People came and went. You know what I mean? I'm like, now we're going to be getting on season 3 in Hulu, like, get picked up because we got canceled. And so yeah, we're moving on. So hoping to kind of with TK push it again. Another good push and grow it. I'd like to get upgrade equipment, go auto, because it's a manual shop, so I print everything by hand.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So like, if you have an 8-color shirt and if there's 100 pieces, I'm pushing that squeegee 800 or possibly 900 times for that one order, so building up these traps in my fucking forearms. But I'd like to, maybe in a year or two, move spaces and get an auto, and that would make life way better turnaround times. Sometimes I get buried and I feel fucking awful for like holding people up, and if I had an auto, turnaround times, it would help with keeping kind of like the man count down.
Mm-hmm.
And getting the quantity and quality out. So that's kind of like the future idea and plan,
And I can totally respect you for wanting to, just get out there and start your own business, because it's not easy to do that kind of stuff. So for, like I said, for me to be able to watch you start it and, do it and have success, I think it's really awesome. So I think it's really cool. And to be able to, have worked with you, right? You've printed merch for me multiple times, which is awesome. I've always been satisfied with it. And it's always funny too, when there's bands touring through here that I know that have gotten merch printed by you. I feel like I get more excited to just check out the quality of the merch, just to kind of see how you're doing. And it's like, oh, cool. Like
European style, get right up close, like really look at it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like a freak at shows now. Like, people probably think I'm some creep. I'm like petting the shirts and like really looking at them. They're probably like, dude, this guy's fucking cracked. What's wrong with him?
No, it's cool, because obviously like you're interested in what's going on out there, because trust me, like I go to these K-pop concerts and they have to like mass produce like like merchandise, and I have a buddy on the inside who, like he, like has a hand in the merch for some of these K-pop artists that I've seen. So I'll send him pictures. I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck is this? Because like I paid like, I'm paying like $90 for an independent hoodie, right? Because like I can tell, and sometimes they don't cut like the tags on the inside. So I'm like texting my buddy. I'm like, dude, this shit's printed on independent. The screen is like the print is just terrible. Like obviously, like I get it, they have to like mass produce for like this like world tour. But like this is insane, and but then it blows my mind too when I'm seeing a lot of information that I'm not supposed to. And I'm just like, okay, like whatever. Like they obviously don't care because they're selling like, millions of dollars worth of merch. And it's just like, the quality can be bad because people just want it. But, for someone like me who actually, knows how a t-shirt, a hoodie gets made, and I actually, want to, because we're overpaying, right? Because obviously the markup has to be there for them to make money. But it's like, all right, like if I'm going to be overpaying for this stupid hoodie that I know that's super cheap, like I at least want like a decent print. But I'm getting like it's crazy how bad some of these prints are.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that one. But like, here's the thing: like they're mass produced, right? But they're on automatic presses or whatever. But like, there's a lot of good mass produced shirts too. There's big fucking artists that do big merch runs that are done well. So sometimes it's just kind of like all shops are different. Some of them just, are sausage factories, and some of them, do dope work at high quantities. You know what I mean? So
100%. And I wanted to ask you, talk about, future, you want to move into a new space. Obviously I've been to, your space now, and I think it's really interesting and kind of cool because it's kind of, this like, just like, it's like a really interesting layout, right? Cause I have to like, we have to like walk through all these, like, it seems like abandoned portions of this compound. But I think it's fun to be able to go there and it's like, all right, like it's like the most unassuming place. Like you would not think that there's like this awesome merch company working out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. It's cheap because it's like one click above being condemned, right? But it's cool. Building school, like we had the Hive there. I trained jujitsu there. The landlord, he's kind of a kooky guy, and it's super cheap, but also like I feel like it's super old, so I feel like sometimes I get nervous about like the electrical in there. Sometimes I don't know what's behind these walls, like what over the like however old the fucking building is. Like I don't know what they were doing when they were wiring it or whatever. That I get nervous sometimes, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to do an auto in that space. I just, because I'm on the second floor, and all the doorways are real like weird and little, and there's corners. So yeah, I'd have to move to go auto.
Yeah, and those things are pretty heavy too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like fall through the floor until like there's a flooring place below us. That'd be something else.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping you're able to reach that goal to get in, just to get to the auto, right? Because I feel like that would make things like way smoother for you.
It would help for sure.
Okay. And can you talk about, you start Good Fortune, and is there a point where, you're laying your head down at night and you're just thinking like, wow, like this is actually a thing, like this is cool, like where you're overcome with joy that you actually took that step to do that?
I'm not trying to be a negative dude. There's points where I lay my head down and I'm like, oh, I started this thing, what the fuck am I thinking? And I feel like Kyle Soaked in Ink could feel me on that one. We joke about shit like that. My man's like on a solo Airbnb retreat to get his relaxation in this weekend up my way, so gonna link with him this weekend. But it's I do, there's times when I'm like, oh, this is fucking sick, like, and I get more so excited for possible future, you know what I mean, what's to come. But sometimes I'm just kind of so lost in the sauce, like just trying to get shit done and do it well. And without just fucking keeling over. That it's hard to appreciate in the moment sometimes, and I try to make an effort once in a while to stop, and even when it's like stressful, be like, yeah, this is still sick, still better than, you know, working in a warehouse or being in a fucking ditch with a hard hat, because I've done that shit and for a long time, and those things suck in a different way. I'd rather work like a fucking dog for myself than some like corporation. And yeah, I mean, yeah, as far as laying the head at nighttime, that's when I'm like, oh man, like just thinking of all the, feel like my left eye just started twitching, like thinking about it. Just all the shit I got to get done and all that. But no, I get excited for the future, because when we do move, I think we're going to try to combine my girlfriend's tattoo shop, Native Stray Tattoo, with the print shop in one building. And she might, because it's just her right now at her spot. So
I like her studio, by the way.
Yeah, it's a chill little spot.
Yeah.
Kristen Emmett, Native Stray Tattoo on Instagram. Check her out. But if we could, you know, move, and maybe she get like another artist or two that could work like kind of alongside her. Not so much a boss situation, but kind of just more so like more space for more creativity and creative people. And in another part of the building, have print shop. You know what I mean? So that'd be that's kind of like the future goal in the next, you know, maybe like year and a half, 2 years, hopefully.
Okay. And last thing on Good Fortune, I'm curious, has there ever been a time when somebody's hit you up for a job and you're just like so surprised that they even knew you existed? Because there's been a situation where I'm talking to people that I know, and then they'll casually drop like, oh yeah, I'm getting you know, the band's merch printed by Good Fortune, and I'm just like, oh crap, like how do you even know about Good Fortune? That's crazy.
Definitely. I'm trying. Yeah, it happens kind of often. I'm just like, oh, like, fuck, I can't think of like a particular, but like it happens where I'm like, I don't even know how these people, like, who sent them this way. Like, especially if it's like kind of maybe like more of a rock band or a pop punky band, you know what I mean? Because on the Instagram, we definitely don't post everything we do, just because like I'm so all over that, like I have to like sit down and like do Instagram sometimes, and I'll be like, fuck, it's been like a week or two and I haven't done anything to the social media or whatever the fuck, because that's like a job in itself there. But yeah, I mean, it definitely happens, and those are things that get me stoked. It's kind of like the same thing, like you're playing a set and you're playing a song, and people that aren't like your immediate friend, like strangers, like know the song somehow. You're just like, oh fuck, this is crazy, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that kind of feeling, like, because I don't expect anyone to really give a fuck about what I'm doing. So it's sick. That's the sick thing. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's cool.
Okay, well, I'm a huge fan of Good Fortune. You know, constantly rapping it every episode.
I fucking appreciate that. That's so sick.
Yeah, and you know, obviously I'm a huge fan of Choice to Make. So last time I was in town and you sent me out with this care package, I was super stoked, because I'm like a newer fan of tote bags. So when I got a Choice to Make tote bag, I'm like, all right, cool. That's a permanent item that I have to display in the background on the podcast to, you know, constantly rep what you guys have going on.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I've been like, when people buy merch, like if they buy like a shirt or two, I'll just fucking stuff a tote bag and be like, yo, take a tote bag. Like, I love the tote bag. Okay,
I lied. Real last thing on Good Fortune. I noticed even with like the you know, orders that I've placed with you, and seeing you know, others like other bands' orders like across the country, I noticed that you always throw in these matchbooks. What's the significance behind that?
That's that's a Matt Wren special. Matt, he's a real good idea guy, right? And when he was around, that was something he thought of, the matches, because business cards are essentially just like litter sometimes. They're just like garbage, just waste, right? So the matches get the point across, but also you could use matches, light a candle. If you're not straight edge, a joint, whatever the fuck, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you could use them. They're useful. So we got a bunch of them still. They have a phone number that no one calls. And if they do call, I might not even know because it's like a fucking Google phone number. So if you call and I don't answer, I'm not getting the call. I'm sorry. But I throw them in the box because we had gotten a bunch of them because they're cheap. And we did have here's another Matt Wrench special. And we had fortune cookies, like straight up fortune cookies we would put in. If we weren't shipping, like if someone was picking up or dropping off an order, we'd fucking throw some fortune cookies in there and you eat them and the fortune would be like just like our info, you know what I mean? And like our contact info and all that. But I might go back to the fortune cookies sometime. But yeah, the matches, I'll just always throw a handful in. I'll throw them like at a local show on like a merch table or something like that. They're like a neat little thing, neat colors.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. So it's like a cool little signature. I definitely like it.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, I want to talk about Strength for a reason. Just because you guys have played a couple shows more recently, and it's cool to still see even young kids showing that respect and showing out for Strength for a reason. Can you talk about why there's been like a little uptick in you guys playing shows?
There's not like a particular reason besides just people hitting us up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's just really it. Like a couple people recently have been hitting us up to play, and it's been kind of working out with schedules. Sometimes maybe I can't make it, or Rusty can't make it, or Jack can't make it, and it'll be a 4-piece. But as long as Jimmy and Carl and then 2 out of the 3 of the strings can make it, we'll play. If all 5 can't. But yeah, that's really it. People have been hitting us up, and it's been fun to like play again. Like I think the next show is October 13th with All Out War, but I'll be seeing Sal Volcano, the Impractical Joker, up here. So sorry, I won't be at that one, but I'll be playing the Holiday Jam December 16th. That would be what I'll be playing, so I'll be sick. But no, it's been fun. I love playing with Strength. Like, been in the band since 2009 and saw the band in like 2001. So it's been a long history. I've been in the riding around with them since I was like 18. So I'm 35. But maybe next year we'll record a couple songs and do maybe like a little cassette or something nice and easy. Been wanting to write some new stuff for a few years.
Yeah, no, that was gonna be my next question, because you've expressed that to me, that you've been wanting to release new music with Strength. Have you talked to the rest of the band about doing something new?
We spitball it, and it's like we're down, but we're also pretty busy. You know what I mean? So, it might just boil down to whoever could link with Jimmy sometime. Yeah, because he's the drummer, or like, I mean, I don't know. We could really just, because I could write like meat and potato shit on drums until Jimmy could get his hands on it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe over the winter or in the spring we could sit down and do 2 or 3 songs. I have like more than that kind of laid out, but I haven't been able to link up with the crew. When we link up, we're going over the set. We're trying to dust off some song from a while ago to bring into the set, so we're not playing the same fucking set all the time. You know what I mean? So, but no, I mean, maybe next year you'll get some sort of Strength for a Reason release, maybe on From Within. See what Carter wants to do.
I think that would be awesome, because obviously I'm a huge fan of Carter, a huge fan of From Within Records, and I've expressed like how cool it was to see Choice to Make and From Within link up and work together, like 2 of my favorite things in hardcore.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys are able to put out new music, with Strength for a Reason, just because, like I said, seeing the videos from your sets and just seeing, that people, from all generations of hardcore, how they still respect and like Strength for a Reason, because, for a band to be around for that long and still be able to go out and have a good set, and for those people to still be active, and still like hardcore, I think it's awesome and, something special.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, I look out and like, I don't see any of the usual suspects. I don't know how this is going to go. And then it ends up being sick. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like, I like looking out and seeing like a cheat code mosher, like, they're going to just get after it no matter what you do. Like you just start clapping your hands and they'll start fucking moshing, So, and if I don't see them out there, I get a little nervous sometimes.
Okay. And there was a band that you played in. There was a demo release, but never played a show. The Fire. Can you talk about that? Because obviously the demo came out.
I signed an NDA. I cannot talk about The Fire. No, I can talk about The Fire.
I really enjoyed the demo, and I felt like for just that style, I felt like there was potential there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd revisit it. I wrote the demo and got Ryan to play drums and TK to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And our homie Pat McHale just recorded it at the Hive. And it was just kind of something to do kind of during like lockdown era shit, like no shows are happening. I love like early 2000s, like Posse Numbers hardcore, like Desperate Measures type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a band that like, sings about fucking hardcore, like, so just kind of like a straight up like hardcore band, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But, it's been talked about maybe just, seeing if anyone wants to like get together, do live. It was made honestly to be like a local opening band, because I feel like Choice to Make More and One Step Closer, we're all kind of like doing more and like getting like out of that local opening type slot.
Mm-hmm.
But there weren't any new bands to fill it. And that was the main idea behind that, to be like a local opener type deal. So we went from no venues to like, now we have a handful and we got shows coming back. So maybe you'll see The Fire relit to open a gig.
That would be awesome. And hopefully I'd be able to make it, because I'm such a fan. And this.
I'll let you know if The Fire's kicking off.
Yes, give me advance notice, because I will book a flight. Even
like
though
it's one of those things where I don't even know what I would do in the band. Like, just it's that loose of a
mm-hmm.
project. Like, I would just fill whatever piece we couldn't easily wrangle down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
TK would sing, and then get some. All we need is probably like 2 or 3 other bodies that would be down, and we could do it. Honestly, it might just end up being kind of like a Choice to Make, handing each other their guitars and just fucking rotating. You know what I mean? Like someone gets out from behind the kit, someone sits down behind the drum kit and give it a guitar. TK goes to his microphone and then do a Fire set.
I'm surprised you guys haven't done it yet, if I'm being honest.
Like I said, dude, I'm really burning the candle at both ends lately.
Mm-hmm.
And like to even get the Choice to Make record done was like kind of like a long process, Okay. So, but definitely would be cool to do, like maybe even re-record the demo or record some like a second demo or some shit, and then open some shows locally.
Okay, well, I guess this is the perfect segue to get into Choice to Make. I want to go back to 2020. When you dropped an album, right, over on Flat Spot. Obviously, it was right before the pandemic. Obviously, nobody knew what the world was heading into just a month later. And obviously, I felt like that was like you guys were one band that actually got negatively affected because of the pandemic, because shows got ripped away, and that's like one of the most important things to be able to go out and promote a band is to go get in front of people and play shows. So
Yeah.
Can you talk about like how difficult that was for all of you?
Honestly, like it was a big momentum killer, right? Like we were playing and stuff, and that record was coming out. We had a dope release show set up, and then like literally like that's when shit started, like right before that release show. And then that was that. I feel like we were kind of almost like the band that got swept under the rug by the pandemic. We even did like promos and shit after, like promo tapes on Streets of Hate and stuff like that, and played some shows. But yeah, I just feel like the pandemic really slowed any momentum that would have been built off that record, honestly, which sucks because I like that record. And thank you, Chain Ricky at Flat Spot, for putting it out for us and just always fucking supporting our band. Yeah, it was a bummer for sure. Like I'll think about that sometimes, like what if that didn't happen, but it happened. So hopefully, I feel like it's almost kind of good in a way too. Like it's almost like we weren't so out there yet. It's kind of almost like we're like, this is like part 2. You know what I mean? This record, it's kind of like a restart button. And yeah, I think like 3 years, people get in and out of hardcore in that fucking time. So the people that we're about to play to in 2020 off that record might have dropped out by now anyway. So fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, and people who are just getting into it in the last year and a half, like, that's who this record now is for.
Yeah, it is crazy because obviously like I've been here following you guys. So the record comes out in 2020, then pandemic hits, and then you mentioned there was the promo, right? The 2 song that dropped in 2021. And was like when you dropped that promo, was there a plan to follow up with like an EP or a record?
So with the promo, me and Caleb went down and recorded the promo songs with Sean from like Prospect and Never Again, and we also recorded the comp track on the Flat Spot comp at that time too. So we had to do the comp track, so it was kind of like, let's do some other songs and we could like kind of get some new music out there until the comp comes out. But dude, like I literally, like on my phone I have a folder like that's like C2M, and I'll just video me writing riffs and just save it. And I'll just stockpile a bunch of shit, and I'll just start going through and listening and be like, oh, nah, or yeah. Or there's some things I like, but like wouldn't go with this group of songs. You know what I mean? So like I have more choice to make shit even written for another thing if we want to do one. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I always wanted to do like another record, and on this one I want to do like a 12-inch of like all new shit on the front, and then the back just like a live set, like but not anywhere but on the record,
like an exclusive.
Like,
yeah,
excuse me, just to make the physical copy a little different from just streaming.
Yeah, a little more valuable.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the plan for this record. But yeah, I guess the answer to the question is like there's always thoughts of more music to be recorded. If that makes sense. I just don't know the time that it will be. And
can you talk about 2022? Because obviously like I said, the promo 2021, but it seems like there's obviously no new music in 2022. Was that because you guys were writing Nature of Morality, or was it just because you were so busy with other things? So busy with the print shop, but we were also on the tip of we were playing shows here and there, but we kind of started to like hunker down, and we wanted to get a new record out, so we're not just playing the same shit. Because we got like 12 minutes of music, so
we don't want to keep playing the same 12 minutes over and over again. So, and I always, like, I had written, like, so the song Nature of Mortality is super different on the record than what I originally wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the other song written with, but it's with those original lyrics, but we ended up changing the music. But that song was going to be the basis of, I guess, like the theme and subject matter of the rest of the record. I knew that much. So yeah, through 22, writing shit, and then yeah, we wanted to kind of wait to get shit out and then start playing shows again, which we're going to start getting back on, like playing shows, getting out there more now that the record's out. You know what I mean? Just keep the momentum going and not, you know, do to us what COVID did the first time. You know, we don't want to do it to ourselves. So we're going to get out there and play and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, 22, honestly, it was more so like personal life and regular life taking front seat while I'm still writing and we're waiting to get music out type deal, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, I don't even remember 22. Like, it came and went. You know what I mean?
No, hey, I feel you. Even this year, I'm just like, I'm trying to like grasp onto like what I've done. I feel like I spent a lot of my time going to K-pop concerts, and I'm just like, I can't really remember anything else.
Yeah, like it's flying. But yeah, that was the vibe for that year for sure.
Okay, and I'm curious because obviously I know Carter, but can you talk about how you started talking with From Within to put out the record?
I mean, we've done the first one, Scene Unity. So, and I talked to Carter of Grip, you know what I mean? He's like a jiu-jitsu dude and fellow HXC lover. So, I always like what From Within does. And so when we were writing this stuff, I wanted to try to do it with Carter if we could, you know what I mean? But also it's like when you're like a DIY label, it's like you got a lot of, and if he has a lot of like stuff going on, it's kind of like, do you have to like, do I sit and wait until this is the right time or whatever? But so I think I started telling him like, we're writing shit, like I could send you stuff when we got like a little rough stuff. He's like, yeah, send it over whenever. Sent him roughs. He was digging it, but at the same time he had like Warren and I think the Envision record going. He had a lot going on. So, but he's like, I like it. I want to do it, but I got a lot of stuff going on right now. And I'm like, damn, all right, yeah, but I'm, definitely want to try to do it with you if we could. So kind of spitball some stuff. Like he talked maybe like doing a tape and seeing like how it went and then maybe going vinyl from there. But I kind of just wanted to go vinyl off the rip and not kind of like half step. So we worked it out that there wasn't any like really risk to anybody or to From Within for them to do it. Like if it was a flopper, you know what I mean? I came up with an idea that if it flopped, it wouldn't hurt Carter. So I think we're okay. From what I gather, I think it's not flopping. So that works out for me. And I just love, like, I don't know, I feel like From Within, that's kind of a built-in fan base that, it gives us an opportunity to get in front of that, sonically we might line up with, but they never really got to check us out, like, or something along those lines. So, and also Warren was doing their shit. So it was kind of like, we pushed it as kind of like, we'll experiment bands, kind of coming back and going with From Within type deal. And the releases are around the same time. So yeah, that's just kind of how it made sense to go with Carter, and it just worked out. And he's been super easy and helpful, and truly appreciate him for, you know, doing just doing it for us.
100%. Yeah. I respect Carter so much. Just, you know, obviously good dude, right? He housed me when I went to Pensacola, which was, you know, something that he didn't have to do. And he was a very great host.
Yeah, he seems like a grade A guy.
Yeah. He woke up at 5 a.m. to take me to the airport. And, you know,
I know the vibe.
Yeah. So to have to go to the airport, it's always a big deal. So for him to have done that, I truly appreciate him. But yeah, but with his, you know, his ear for music, and like I'm a huge fan of the label, so it's always cool to see them do well, right? So that's why I told him I'm ride or die from within till the end. So and like I said, just to see them work with you guys, you know, work with Warren, you know, bands that I'm friends with, it's always it always makes it feel more special, right? Because obviously, like, they work with bands with people that I don't even know, which is cool, right? So but I always like it more when it's just like, oh cool, like they you know, they're on it, because, you know, like, I love Warren, love Choice to Make. I know you guys have always made great music, so for them to recognize that and want to put you guys out, I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Carter respects like PA hardcore a bunch too. So, you know, and there's just like ties of that label to Pennsylvania, like Pain Clinic. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's another current From Within release that's from Pennsylvania. So it just, you know, just kind of made sense too, in a way.
100%. I think it's cool, but and I'm happy to hear that it's not a flop, because when you sent me the record early and I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is you know, typical Choice to Make, putting out great music. I just hope that this time you guys are given the opportunity to be able to shine, right? Because obviously, like we talked about, the pandemic kind of cut you guys down, but now that you know, there's really nothing standing in your way, and with the support of From Within Records, I think it's cool to see you guys getting out there, right? I've seen you know, some of your more recent live sets. You guys you know, played at Bonks, right? And then you guys have a show coming up in November in New Jersey.
November 18th in New Jersey with Train of Thought, Cut Down, Regulate and Downfall. This Sunday, I don't know when this comes out. I don't know. Will this be out by Sunday the 8th?
No, it'll come out after.
No. All right. Well, we would have had played Bonks again Sunday, and it was sick.
Okay. That's awesome. Wait, can you talk about you know, the Sunday show? We'll call it.
Yeah, so Seismic Toss set it off. A lot of young kids pinned for Seismic Toss. It was sick to see. Then No Quarter Given brought the ruckus. Then Stucky's band, Last Man Out. He was out there going nuts.
Shout out Ben Stucky.
Yeah, then the Brothers in Raw Life, they came up from Jersey and smashed it. I was mosh pitting for them. And then we played, and everyone went the fuck home right before we played, but it was chill.
It's all right. Just give it a little time. People will, you know, will stick around for that kind of stuff. I think Bonks is such a, because I was able to go to Bonks when I was in Philly back in March. And I was able to experience a show there, and I was like, wow, this is insane that I was like standing behind like the like drum kit, because I was like, I first of all, it's like late, I'm tired, I hate after shows, but an opportunity to go to Bonks where I see everybody post about it, I was like, I have to take this opportunity, I'm not going to miss it. So I was like standing behind like the drum kit, and like the owner, he thinks I'm in a band, so he's like talking to me, being very friendly, and I'm like, wow, this is like a great environment to be in. I was like, to get treated so nice by the staff, you know, I thought that was cool. And then just to see kids be able to go off to these crazy bands, I was like, yeah, this is a super cool venue. Yeah.
First time I was there was when we played there, and I really like it. I like small, tight venues, but I was just there. What's today even? Is today Friday? Today's Friday. Went down to the Echo Chamber show.
Oh, you printed their merch. I saw that.
Yeah. Echo Chamber is probably my favorite fucking hardcore band currently, for sure. Dude, like by a mile.
They traveled so far. Respect for the international flavor.
For sure. But it was fucking packed, and I loved it. It was like super sick. Like it was a good vibe. Yeah. So small, always like a small room. It's always good because if no one comes, it still feels okay. And when a lot of people come, it feels like, you know, sometimes it's kind of like mosh or be moshed situation, you know?
Dude.
But, yeah, Bonks is cool. Excited to go back. So, and then November 18th, we got that Jersey show. And November 12th is the record release at home.
Okay, I was going to ask about that because I've heard rumblings, but there's no flyer and the show's about a month out.
So, Nyland will have one Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, so it'll definitely, the flyer will be up by the time this gets posted. So shout out Kyle. Nyland.
So, it's gonna be November 12th.
Okay.
At Doug's Boardroom in Kingston, PA, 310 Market Street at 5 p.m. Band's 5:15 sharp.
Okay.
It's us, Dead Heat, Warren, Never Again, Raw Life, Pain Clinic, and some local rockers, Temple of Mara.
Oh, okay. Temple of Mara. I haven't heard of them. I got to check them out.
Yeah, local young kids, and hope, like, you know, we need some new blood, some new skin in the game. So hopefully they're into the whole vibe of the show, you know, and stick around for more shows.
Yeah, hopefully. You know, I had a lot of hope for Crashing Down, but
I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, you know,
but these are like legit. So Crashing Down, I think, is like fucking adults, right? Like 20-something-year-old adults. Yeah. But I think this band's like teenagers, right? So I feel like, I don't know. You can miss me with that, like, you know, I just got my bachelor's. I'm going for my fucking graduate degree, and I'm hitting my first hardcore show energy. Like, I need you to, like, fucking, I don't know, be getting fresh out of detention and then going to your first hardcore show. You know, like, I feel like it's like weird when there's like, I don't know, some dude's tucking his family in and going to his first hardcore shows. I don't know, maybe I'm like a hater or something, but
no.
It's like, I feel weird and old, and I've been going to shows for a long time, like, and I just remember like starting to go to shows and being like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Most of the people at the show, or, you know, my friends were all that age, and there was other groups of friends that age and everyone's just getting their licenses and all that shit, and they're driving to shows. Where I feel like now, I don't know, you don't see that as much. It's like median, like new show, like, oh yeah, we got a new young kid. It's 25. It's like, that was like the old head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
So
I get it.
Just, I don't know why that is, or I don't know. Maybe just people aren't into as much aggressive stuff as they used to be, like years ago. But it's cool. Like, this is like a group of like I think so. The last group of like teenagers was like one step closer, and they're like in their like mid fucking 20s now. So it's been that long, and now there's a new group of like probably upper high schooly type people. So hopefully they keep their band going and come to more just underground shows. You know what I mean? Hardcore punk. We got a lot of stuff going on, like rock and fucking alt rock, because we went from no venues to now we have some options. So
yeah,
I think things are going to turn around up here in Wilkes-Barre.
Heard about shows in the woods.
Yeah, the Virgos take some generators out there and do it off the grid. Just fucking rock for Mother Nature.
Yeah, they just put out a new record. Shout out the Virgos.
They did. Yeah, Virgos, Wild Red, Warren, Choice to Make. Everyone's talking shit on Wilkes-Barre, and they don't want to fucking play here because they say it's fucking dead.
Who says that?
Grim. Yeah, people say it, and
I've never heard of it. But maybe
they say it, we hear it, and we fucking remember it. So it's kind of like when Larry David opens the fucking Spike coffee store next door sometime. Like, Wilkes-Barre's like the fucking fight scene sometimes. Like there's, yeah, it happens every few years. Like, everyone else says it's fucking dead. You know, Wilkes-Barre used to be good, now it sucks. And then fucking we get a venue or we get some bands going, and then for a few years, Wilkes-Barre's back in everyone's fucking mouth. And, you know, just goes up and down like that. So we're coming back on the up, you know? So
I think it's jealousy.
All positive things up here.
It's jealousy.
So if you're a touring band and someone says Wilkes-Barre's fucking bunk, don't play there, go somewhere else, play here. You know what I mean? We'll host you. It'll be good.
Yes, I urge people to make that a stop on their tour, because for the longest time, right, just being a fan of so many bands from the area, and just through doing this and making friends with you, and then you introducing me to a lot more people from the area, and to be able to go out there and actually experience it firsthand, it's crazy. Yeah. It trips me out, because like I've said before on the podcast, like when you know, just riding through the city with like you, or if Dan's driving me around, whatever, or if Shane's driving, whatever, it just trips me out that it's just like it just seems like nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Like, you know, like just like the normies, whatever. I don't really like that term, but like just the people outside of the music scene, it's like they have no idea that there's this crazy awesome history that is that it has happened and is currently going on, like, in that area. Yeah.
I mean, I guess they don't have a reason to. It's underground, right? You know, it's not mainstream. That's why it's sick.
Dude, some of my, you know, honestly, some of my favorite memories of recent hardcore times have been there. Like, you know, going to that One Step Closer record release show in a firehouse, like, what the hell, that's crazy. Yeah. SWB Volume 2, that shit was crazy.
That was a good one. Yeah. Yeah, it ebbs and flows for sure. Mm-hmm. But we're on an upswing, so keep on the lookout.
And obviously Carl Hall's no longer around, which I'm happy that I was able to at least experience it once, but before you know, they closed their doors. But you mentioned that newer venue, Douglas Boardroom. Douglas Boardroom, am I saying that right?
Doug's Boardroom.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And then you know, and then seeing like the outdoor stuff with Caleb and his skate jam, which is crazy. And Caleb, if you're listening to this, hopefully I've gotten back to you about doing the podcast. Shout out Caleb. Shout out, you know, the only skate shop in Scranton still, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Bizarre. Yeah. Yeah. It's wild, but also I think it's cool that even in like hard times, like, you guys are always able to find a way. Because even like, you know, you briefly mentioned like earlier the Hive, that's something that you know, you got a hand in. I think it's just really cool that you guys never give up.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it always was. Like, just fucking DIY. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. It's super fucking easy to do. It could be done anywhere, you know? So I just kind of grew up experiencing that, like shows at fire halls and regular venues and wherever, pavilions, like just kind of, you know, regular, just DIY hardcore situation, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I am curious, you know, right behind you, SWB poster, is that something you want to revisit in the future?
I don't know. I feel like when I did this fucking, I just kind of wanted to do like a bigger show with like kind of like younger, newer bands at the time, or bands doing stuff. Just not really have like a fest as much as just kind of like all the homies playing. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, TK talked me into doing 2 days, which was cool, but it was kind of a headache. Third one was a big flop. And, but by this time, I feel like regular shows are almost dead. weirdly enough, I feel like everything is a fest or a gigantic show.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost kind of like, you know, I'm never say never, but like I'll probably wait for this fucking wave of like every zip code has its own fucking big show. You know what I mean? Like, and just I'd rather us just focus on having more regular shows on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
and not like have one big show that like burns. You know what I mean? Having longevity, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. Do the regular shows, right? Build up that reputation again. Make people or put people on notice. Like, hey, like this, like this is no joke out here. Like we're doing like solid shit. And then when the time is right, put on the big show, and people are already aware, and they're like, all right, that's a destination.
We'll call the record release SWB4 in quotations. I'll say it here. It won't be on anywhere else.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate the exclusive. Thank you.
Yeah. It's just going to be known here as SWB4.
All right. Well, I truly respect SWB because I was, like I said, able to go out to Volume 2, and that was.
Did you see this or no? Oh, is it upside down?
It is upside down, but I can read it. That is dedication.
But yeah, that was corny.
Hey, rep your shit, right? Like I respect and honestly, being such a fan of the area, right? Like I don't shy away about getting any opportunity to talk about that area, but getting to meet people like you and just getting the respect, and then even just meeting so many other people, people that play in a ton of other bands that just give me the time of day and keep it real, right? Because and not even just Wilkes-Barre, but just like Pennsylvania hardcore, probably some of like the most real people that I've met. In terms of in the scene, because right, like I talk to people from all over, deal with a lot of different personalities, but when it comes to PAHC, I've gotten just so much love for that state and that scene, just because I've just met so many people who keep it real, and I can appreciate that so much.
That's sick. I appreciate you keeping it real with us. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely about like respect and keeping it real. I don't know. Don't get it twisted. Like, there's definitely like people in PA that are full of shit. You know what I mean? But fucking, if they're full of shit, they go fuck themselves.
This is a sad year for me because this is like the first year that I'm not gonna have made a trip to your area, right? Because I used to base it around SWB or some sort of show going on, but this year it just didn't work out. But I talked to Jeff pretty frequently. Shout out Jeff. Shout out Feet First Productions. Feet First, super legit. And I told him, I was like, I don't care what happens next year. Like, I'm gonna make a trip out there. Like, let's find something cool to film or do something. But I'll be back in 2024.
Give a shout. I'll be here.
Okay.
You'll bury me here, so you know where to find me. Northeast PA. Okay. Last thing before we go, the area is famous for pizza spots like Jerry's and Angelo's, but I remember one time we were having a conversation and you were talking about 40 Fort having like a different type of pizza that was really good, that could be the best pizza. Oh, was I talking about Pizza Heaven?
I honestly can't remember. I was hoping you would.
I've been on a Pizza Heaven kick. Pizza Heaven's in Luzerne, which is 2 minutes that way.
Okay.
Next to 40 Fort. Definitely a different style from Angelo's or Jerry's. I feel like, here's the thing, up here you could have like a pizza every day of the week and it's different than the pizza you had the day before. It's just that with like, it's not all like, you could have like a generic fucking New York pizza here, and then you could have like kind of a square, thick, almost like a pan pizza, but if like you made it at home, and then the Angelo's, Jerry's type pizza, and then there's like the Old Forge bullshit, which I don't care for. But Pizza Heaven, I've been on a big Pizza Heaven kick. But Matt Wren put me on to, they have a sweet sauce that isn't like Angelo's or Jerry's. It tastes like wing sauce that isn't spicy, if that makes sense. I think there might be honey in it if I had to guess, but I don't know. But yeah, I get that. No onion with sweet sauce. That's the fucking my move lately for pizza.
Okay. Honestly, out here in California, every time I eat pizza, every bite that I take, I get so sad because it's not a slice of Jerry's pizza.
I mean, I can't blame you, man. I haven't been out there, but I can't imagine there's anything like that out there. Really, there's spots. It's kind of like a unique situation.
There's like unique pizza spots, but I'm telling you, dude, there's nothing that compares to Jerry's Pizza. All you motherfuckers out there who think I'm crazy, I urge you to go try Jerry's, the best pizza spot in the world. It
is the shit. I love it.
All right, Nate, this has been awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I'm such a fan of everything that you do. Shout out Matt Wren. I haven't heard from him lately, but every time I funnel through my shirts, I have this like friends and family dark medicine shirt that he sent me just because I was curious about it, and he was nice enough to send me one. So I'm always grateful for that. And whenever I'm out there, he makes an effort to want to hang out, which I truly appreciate, because when I'm out there, there's certain people that I would expect to want to hang out because I think we're friends, but their phones die, whatever. But I'm happy whenever I travel out there. I get to see, obviously, I think like every time I've gone out there, I've stayed with you. I get to hang out with Shane, Matt, Jeff, and it's awesome. Shout out to Dan, Caleb. It's a place full of people that I really like. But before we go, is there anything else you would like to say?
Dan Schultz. Yeah, come back to Northeast PA, brother. You turned your back on us.
Yo. What about Clemmo with the heel turn going to Philly?
They can keep Clemmo. You can keep him down there. We want Dan back. Keep Clemmo. That's okay. Nah, I'm fucking with you. I love Dan. Clemmo's sick. I just wanted to be a troll just now. So, but no, thanks to fucking Warren for always being the homies. One step closer. Matt Wren, fucking TK, killing it. Carter from Within for doing the record. Nature of Mortality, go fucking pre-order it or whatever. Dan White for crushing it on the drums. He's our consistent drummer now. Dan White from Fixation. And shout out Bizarre. I wanted to fucking prop somebody else, but I'm sorry, I can't think of them. At Feet First, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you to anyone who lets me print their shit. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. You got any shout outs, my friend?
No, every podcast, the intro, right, is always From Within Records, Good Fortune Printing, and that's it, right? Because these are two things that I stand behind, things that I rep every episode, right? We have this Payback test press. We got the Choice to Make tote, Good Fortune. This is prime real estate right here, Nate. People want to pay me. This is me peeling back the curtain, right? I don't like to talk about this stuff all the time. I've been offered money for this space, and I've said no to everybody. It can't be bought.
Can't be bought. Can't be sold. How long have we been talking?
Probably like almost like an hour and a half, maybe. But it's all love, right? From Within Records, Good Fortune. I'm ride or die till the day I die, or until Carter doesn't want me to support, or if you don't want me to support, just let me know.
I got one more shout.
Let's hear it.
Kristen Emmett at Native Stray Tattoo. Go follow on Instagram.
Shout out, Kristen. Awesome.
Kristyn.
Okay, I'll put it here at the bottom so people can see it and they can go look it up. But truly, I appreciate your time, and hopefully I'll see you sooner than later. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.